So going into the 2025 draft, one thing I think the Packers had to address, a couple of things, especially defensive side of the ball, was the quarterback. And again, in the free agency, they did address the quarterback issue. They signed in the free agency Nate Hobbs, quarterback from Raiders. But again, you need obviously more cover in that position. So what they did in this draft is they drafted Micah Robinson, cornerback from Tulsa. Again, I think him and Nate Hobbs are going to be good in that defense side of the ball, especially going to be more stable, I think, for the Packers. And then you're looking at other additions that they signed in free agency that they signed they signed Aaron Banks from the 49ers as a guard. Again, more protection for Jordan Love, which is again what they need to protect the quarterback. Work both sides of the ball, the trenches and guard. And then they and then they signed like Harmon, Macomb Harmon, wide receiver from the Chiefs, and then they got Christian Welsh, linebacker for Christian Walsh, linebacker for the Ravens, and then Isaiah Simmons, linebacker from the Giants. Which again, they beefed up their defense in the science. And then in the draft, what did they need in the draft? They had to address cornerback, like I said. They got They need to address another weapon for Jordan Love, because they had to really address another wide receiver one. Somebody on the edge, defensive line, inside linebacker, some more cover on that offensive like they needed a tackler, and then another linebacker. So first draft pick they got was Matthew Golden, which again is a steal, and I even give I'll give the Packers credit. I don't like giving the Chiefs any credit, because again, I'm a Lions fan and I fucking cannot stand the fucking Packers with fucking from all my life. They've been fucking having all these good quarterbacks and winning championships. It pisses me right off. But bias, I think again, we had to have the draft in fucking Wisconsin of all places. It's like, come on. All that green and yellow, the stupid shit. Oh god. Anyway, but Matthew Golden was a good pick in the first round, 23rd overall. He was really good, and I really like his speed, his quickness, how he can peel away from the defense and really cause a lot of problems. And he's gonna be. I'm interested to see next season, going into 2025 now, how him and Jordan Love are gonna link up together. And I think that was kind of. I know, yeah, you had Josh Jacobs last year running back, but you needed somebody else on that wide receiver side of the ball that was going to help Matthew Golden, because really you didn't really have many good options in that position. So again, what I like here is that they got him from Texas in the first round. First time in 23 years that they got drafted a first round pick of a wide receiver. And then they address the left tackle, which is Anthony Belton, left tackle from North Carolina State. And he looks like a big. I've seen his tape. He is he's a pretty good impact. He can be potentially a steal if you can get the right, if you got the right system with him, he can get the best out of him and really unlock his potential. He's really good, and I've been really liking his tape. But you got him in the second round, 54th overall, from, like I said, North Carolina. It's a steal. I think he's good, especially when you look at like other off it. Like again, he would be good for the Patriots. I think the Patriots should have maybe not gone for who they went for at left tackle. Like they should have maybe gone for Anthony Belton or somebody like that. Maybe like Tyler Booker. But again, looking at this, the Patriots, fantastic addition, and he's not one of those that it's really. Lackadaisical, kind of stay on his feet. And then Savion, Williams. I think he's going to be like wide receiver 2. He's going to be probably wide receiver 2. Because Savion Williams, wide receiver from TCU, 3rd round, 87th overall. Again, I was impressed with what I saw on his tape as well. I think, you know, from the Packers, you've got to at least get past the wild card, especially with the weapons that you have this season. Like you've got Savion Williams, you have Matthew Golden, you've got your guy at quarterback now with Matt and Jordan Love. So you know you're building a pretty much a good offensive team here, and you have Josh Jacobs as well. And then they went back in the 4th round and they addressed the defensive line, which again, both sides of the trenches that was needed to be addressed. Defensive line was Barryn, Barryn, Sorrell, defensive end from Texas. Again, you need to really beef up that edge and that defensive line, which is really good. And then linebacker again. I know that you signed a couple linebackers, like I just said it earlier, but you bringing in Warren. I'll bring Collin in again. Collin Oliver. He's a 5th round pick again. Is he gonna get game time? I mean, he could be. Again, he's probably wide receiver 3. So, wide receiver 3. Linebacker 3. He'd be linebacker 3 behind Walsh and Simmons. But he'd be, again, sit behind those guys maybe, and then he can have a couple counters. But he came in for Oklahoma. And then you got the defensive tackle, Warren. So again, you're going back to defensive tackle. They got 6th round was Warren Brinson. From saying his last name right. Warren Brinson, defensive tackle from Georgia. Again, he was decent. I'm not really impressed with him. 6th round pick, so not much of a gamble there. But and then the last pick that they had, which was John Williams. Again, going back to that offensive tackle again, working on the offensive tackle for Jordan Williams from Cincinnati. So again, you're addressing the areas that you need to address. And for this kind of really for this draft for the Packers, again, I'm gonna give it to the Packers. Again, Matthew Golden is probably the best out of this draft. Anthony Belton is gonna be good. I think, you know, him and Anthony Belton is a good addition. Savion Williams is a good addition. But yeah, overall, I think it's a really solid draft for the Packers. Nothing too like spectacular, like oh my god, again, Matthew Golden, great. Savion Williams, fantastic addition for both Savion Williams and Matthew Golden, and Belton as well is a fantastic addition. Again, you got Micah Robinson, cornerback again. Focusing again, what I like here from the Packers is that they're focusing on their defense side of the ball, which again was a problem that they needed going into this draft from. So again, great additions here. Overall, grading for really the Packers, I'm probably give them like an 8.5, something like that. So yeah, that's my Packers draft grade for 2025. Leave you guys thoughts in the comments.